What does Trump's presidency mean for higher education?
We are going to support initiatives that help us educate students.
Our DC Bureau brings you an exclusive interview with FIU President Kenneth Jessel. Proud Boy Enrique Tarrio is back in South Florida.
My message to the president is thank you. Thank you.
After being pardoned by President Trump. 40 years of Vice City.
And I literally get to live through the 80s.
A documentary captures all the magic. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Julie Lascano.
I'm Samantha Gutierrez. Today is Thursday, January 23rd, 2025.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
New details on the shooting at a high school that left one student dead and another injured. A 17-year-old student opened fire inside a high school near Nashville, killing one student and injuring another before turning the gun on himself.
As WZTV's Madeline Nolan reports, this is the first school shooting to occur in the U.S. this year.
He was a monster, just killing people.
Absolute heartbreak at Antioch High School. Metro Police say that 17-year-old Solomon Henderson arrived with a plan.
This individual arrived at school on a bus and was actively a student in the school, went into the restroom, I guess, to retrieve his weapon, and then went into the cafeteria.
According to police, Henderson fired several shots from a pistol, and those bullets hit two students. 16-year-old Joseline Correa Escalante died in the gunfire.
Firing multiple rounds in the cafeteria, striking her, and then before pulling the weapon on himself.
First responders rushing into the school, helping the wounded, and the SWAT team making sure that there were no other shooters. Two other students were also taken to the hospital.
We did do 4 transports, all of them going to Vanderbilt. Then other assessments were done, of course, with student and staff when it was needed.
The impact going beyond those inside the cafeteria when the gunfire erupted, the violence impacting an entire community.
The level of first response here once again highlights how important our community of collaboration is.
And Madeline Nolan, Fox 17 News.
This morning, Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio is free and back in South Florida thanks to President Trump's pardon. The 4 days into the new administration, one of President Trump's first acts were to pardon hundreds of January 6 rioters. Among those who have been released from prison is Miami native and Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio, who was convicted on seditious conspiracy. He was greeted by his mother and fiance and a slew of reporters at arrivals in Miami International Airport. When asked what message he had for President Trump, Tarrio thanks him for keeping his promise.
The message to the president is thank you. Thank you. Promises made, promises kept, and justice was served on January 21st, 2025. Thank you.
Other rioters pardoned by President Trump include Stuart Rhodes, the leader of Oath Keepers organization. Just like Tarrio Rhodes, he was convicted with seditious conspiracy.
Thousands of active duty U.S. troops are deploying to the southern border after an order was issued by the Trump administration. Active duty troops can oversee U.S. Customs and border protection, but not law enforcement activities. In an executive order Monday, President Trump said he would decide within 90 days to invoke the Insurrection Act at the southern border. This would provide him authority to use active duty troops domestically for law enforcement. Part of the first round will be about 1,500 troops.
Student loans and university research may soon be on the chopping block under the Trump administration.
Reporter Isabel Rivera is live from our DC bureau with more on universities such as FIU interacting with the Trump administration. Isabel, what do you have?
Good morning, Julian and Samantha. With President Trump quick to sign off on executive orders regarding climate change and immigration, higher education now remains uncertain as to whether he'll deliver on the budget cuts he proposed during his campaign. Take a look.
Trump has historically blamed the billions of federal dollars spent annually on post-secondary education programs for driving up inflation in recent years. Initiatives at risk of losing funding or being cut entirely include loan forgiveness plans and aid programs such as work study for lower-income students.
It's really just a lot of uncertainty. We don't know what payment options are still going to be available. We don't know if interest rates are going to change. We don't know about loan forgiveness.
Trump's likely support of Republican-led College Cost Reduction Act would eliminate federal PLUS loans, which financially support graduate and undergraduate students. The Heritage Foundation's Project 2025 initiative, supported by the Trump administration, proposes ending Biden's Save Loan Repayment Plan. For the nearly 90% of Florida International University students who receive financial aid, the consequences are costly.
Coming all the way from Indiana down to Miami, Florida, is obviously a big life adjustment. It's a big culture shock. Being afforded the opportunity to take out the loans kind of eased the burden of my first year once I had moved here.
Also expected to take a hit is scientific research funding. Project 2025 proposes major restructuring of the National Institutes of Health. FIU received over $39 billion in funding from NIH last fiscal year, and university officials are looking at how the new administration will proceed.
Well, we know that the key to economic prosperity for all people is education. So we know that the Trump administration is going to be evaluating policies with respect to how do we improve the educational opportunities for all people. So we will support the Trump administration, as we always have with every administration. We are going to support initiatives that help us educate students so that they are going to be at their best to solve the problems facing society today.
For those enrolled in Biden's Save Repayment Plan, a federal court has upheld its decision to block it for now, leaving 8 million borrowers in limbo about the future of their student loan payments. Reporting live from Washington, D.C. for Caplin News, I'm Isabel Rivera.
TikTok is back up and running in the U.S. thanks to President Donald Trump trying to strike a deal. Trump said that he would be open to ex-owner Elon Musk or Oracle executive chairman Larry Ellison taking over the app. Investor groups and Mr. Beast made bids as security concerns the U.S. Supreme Court fears still rise.
TikTok is back.
TikTok was back Sunday after assurance that Trump would delay the enforcement of the ban. The U.S. Supreme Court is upholding the law that keeps it off the App Store, but on Monday, Trump signed an executive action to delay the ban for 75 days. TikTok shut down services for about 14 hours Saturday night, blocking the roughly 170 million American users from gaining access. Last year, Congress passed a law banning the app over security concerns about how the Chinese company was using Americans' information. TikTok and its China-based owner ByteDance sued the U.S. government, and the case went to the Supreme Court, which upheld the ban last week.
What we want is we don't want China spying on Americans. We don't want China influencing young people.
In the law, Congress gave TikTok's parent company until January 19th to sell the app to a buyer from America or one of its allies, or face it being blocked. That's why the app decided to go dark, infuriating many users like Joanne Molinero, who depends on the platform for business.
I do need TikTok to continue engaging with the community that I've spent over 4.5 years building.
While users have regained access, it may not be permanent. In Trump's executive order, he says he gave himself the right to force the company to sell or close it.
The president is going to have to become more serious about finding a resolution to these issues. We want to keep TikTok up, but we have to resolve the national security issues.
If ByteDance refuses to sell TikTok, it could go dark in the U.S. again. The U.S. app stores continue to block TikTok, not allowing downloads or updates. Secondhand devices with the app downloaded are listed on sale on eBay.
Jimmy Butler is set to set out again as his feud with the Heat front office continues.
That's still ahead, and so is the story.
The greatest thing I could ever do in my life because it's my favorite show.
The neon lights of Miami Beach in the 1980s on full display in a new documentary about Miami Vice. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
I could really use a new tablet. I just don't have the money.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a Pell Grant?
Yes?
You do know you can get a free tablet, right?
Did you say free?
Yeah, free. It's simple. And the application is done in the store.
I could really use a tablet.
Go get one! Another satisfied customer. Stop by Panther in the Graham Center at FIU MMC today to speak with one of our associates to get your free tablet.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Movie Magic featuring Miami Vice, the TV show that helped put the Magic City on the map. The premiere of documentary happened over the holiday weekend.
Caplin's Jacqueline Pecker was there and for the screening, and she has your front row seat.
There's something in the air tonight here in Miami Beach as Miami locals, tourists, and fans of hit 80s TV show Miami Vice are here celebrating Art Deco weekend and attending a screening of a new Miami Vice documentary.
Free Miami Vice!
The clothes, the cars, the crime. They were all on screen again this past weekend at the premiere of Everything Came from Miami Vice, a new documentary commemorating 40 years of the classic NBC drama. Actor, producer, and Miami Vice superfan Derek Hedlund produced the feature-length documentary that stars original cast and crew members like Ben Stiller, Michael Madsen, and Stephen Bauer.
It is the greatest thing I could ever do in my life because it's my favorite show, and I literally get to live through the 80s, which I was not around for, and it's like I'm on the set.
The premiere screening fittingly took place during Miami's annual Art Deco weekend event, celebrating the architecture and history of the Art Deco period, a visual aesthetic that became a staple of the show and the city.
Miami Vice helped the Miami Design Preservation League to preserve the Art Deco. Miami Vice highlighted it and brought its attention to the world.
After the screening, audience members were treated to a Q&A with original cast and crew members from the show that dominated screens in the 80s.
She didn't know that he was Phil Collins, the singer.
They got to hear never-told-before stories, set secrets, and a glimpse of what it was like working with Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas, who played buddy cops Sonny Crockett and Rico Tubbs. Fans were decked out in their best suits and sunglasses, a tribute to this blast from the past that's still alive today, 40 years later.
I feel in a lot of ways, as dated as some may say the show is, I feel it's also very timeless. And I think the documentary did a great job of showing how there's so much that the show gave.
The fun is all part of the lead up to the annual Miami Vice reunion, an event created by Hedlund, featuring cast and crew meet and greets, fan meetups, car shows, filming location tours, and more. Everything Came from Miami Vice takes to the screen again this year for an exclusive screening at the upcoming Miami Vice reunion in September, which promises to be another fun-filled event celebrating 41 years of the show. In Miami Beach, reporting for Caplin News, I'm Jacqueline Pecker.
Trouble in the 305 as Miami Heat star guard Jimmy Butler was suspended once again. In a statement made by the team, quote, "We suspended Jimmy Butler for 2 games for a continued pattern of disregard of team rules, insubordinate conduct detrimental to the team, including missing today's team flight to Milwaukee," end quote. Butler had just returned from his 7-game suspension Friday after multiple instances of misconduct.
Moving on to ice, the Florida Panthers were handed a royal loss after losing the lead to the Los Angeles Kings. A slow first start to the Panthers, they were able to put one in the back of the net in the second half for the lead. The Kings, however, were able to tie it in the third and retook the lead with less than 7 minutes left. The final score was Panthers 1, Los Angeles 2. The Cats will continue their West Coast tour against the San Jose Sharks on Saturday at 10 p.m.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
Yeah, I know. That's why I did it. Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain. Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina? No. Oh. No.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Bill is a family man. He invests his money wisely and provides a good life for his children. Just one problem. He often opens emails from senders he doesn't know, and his computer is not password protected. One day, Bill checked his bank account and 94% of malware attacks originate from emails. Don't be like Bill. Take your cybersecurity seriously.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Julian Lascano.
I'm Samantha Gutierrez. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.